What's up, guys? As the title suggests, we'll create a to do app using React Native because the world needs another to do app, hey? And while doing so, we'll learn about very basics of React Native, fundamentals like maybe state management and passing in props, how to separate components and states, some logic. We'll use TypeScript. I thought this would be a best way for me to kickstart my YouTube journey. So let's get right into business. So I have Expo installed in my system already. Um, it's Expo CLI. I think you can use npm or yarn to install Expo CLI. So I did run this command expo init to do list, and then it's it said just do yarn start, and then we should be able to see our hello world app. You just follow the docs, install everything, and then you should be able to see the hello world app. So expo starts a metro bundler, a node environment, so to say, which you can use to run your projects both iOS and even web, and then on Android as well. We'll be doing more of iOS. Maybe next video we'll do Android as well, but I would like to keep my videos short and crisp so they are easier to follow. That's the plan. See how we go. As I told you, we'll be doing a to do app. And so what a to do app needs, maybe a plus button to add list items, and then so input box, and then a view or a text view to show those text fields. Open up app.tsx to start working on your app. Okay, so let's just change this text and see. uh, React Native has a live reload, so whenever you change anything, it just live reloads onto your app. You can disable that, but I really like it. So give this video a thumbs up, maybe. So first thing, what we want to show, maybe, so this is the entry point of our application, and I really don't like to use style sheets. I prefer styled components over style sheets, but we will not jump into styled components in the first vid. Let's just add a header which says nope, text to do list. Too many typos, eh? So what's in the to do list? There's a list of items, and then there's one text which is displaying your list of items. So let's just make that one component first. So I'll create a new folder which would say components, and then from components I'll create maybe a new folder, because we'll write tests and maybe integrate storybook later on. So to do item, maybe, yep, to do item, and then we'll create one more file, index.tsx. This is the folder structure I normally follow. If people who are watching this video have a better solution, please do comment. React from React Native, and then we will export const to do item. It will be a functional component, and so what would it return? It would essentially return a text. And we don't need this text, and then so this component will accept some props. Then we'll create what type of to do. So to do item, what would be the type of it? It will display a message, so maybe string message, or maybe a task would be mandatory, and then completed is completed. or maybe he's done something like that, this will be mandatory as well for people who are new to TypeScript. You can pass on additional props, like optional props. So if you put a question mark in here, that would be an optional, but we want them both to be mandatory. So react dot functional component and then to do item props, and then we can use this is completed, and then task can go in here. Task to do item. So I have exported this. So once you export this, you can use this anywhere. So let me just try using it here instead of using normal text. I'm gonna try and use this to do item, and then task. Maybe I should import it first so that I can. Task is a string, so I'll say task1, and then it's complaining because it says property is completed is missing, because the property is mandatory. So is completed is because it's mandatory, we need to pass that in. So to do list task1. So let's create a button in keyboard avoiding view. So whenever I open a keyboard or close the keyboard, this should be handled by itself by this keyboard avoiding view, and then I will take a text input, and then it will, I think text input can be a component of this type, and then touchable opacity, touchable opacity text with plus. How's this looking? So text input, let's just open React docs here. Text input React native. So what are the main props that text input takes? So this is, I think they have done an example for us. Useless text input. So essentially we just need on change text and a value. So on change text. So text is this, right? So this, the keyboard is opening, but this won't do anything because we are passing in text as a constant in value. So every time it will just show us text. I'm gonna add a little bit of styles so at least we can see at least some of it. So styles dot, let's just use style sheet for now. Text input wrapper, how's that sound for the name? Justify align items. So I need to change the flex direction, column or maybe row. So flex direction row, and then maybe I'll give this a border. Styles dot, not style media, styles dot text input border. Do we have any border property? Black. Border radius 5 pixel, or maybe just 5. Border width 1. You can see the border, right? So we'll add some padding, maybe 10, and maybe we'll add some margin as well, margin 10. Yep, awesome. And then we'll do justify content center, not row center, and then align items center as well. So we need to change this constant value to a dynamic value, so we'll use state for that. Const value and then update value, use state, and it is empty by default. So, and we can pass assign. So what we are trying to do here is we're trying to use on change. So what on change gives us, let's click on on change text. Let's use on change text, that looks better. On change, because on change text gives us text in return, and then we can just use this text to update our state. So whenever we change text, it will update our state, not value. It will update our state, and then whenever state changes, re-render would happen, and then it would show us the new number here. Yep, you can see that. And we have this button here, text button. We'll add some styles to this. I'll just copy all of it. We don't need margin, I think so. And then I'll just do it to 10 because I'm gonna do 20 and then 20. Padding 10, how you look. Style dot, where is touchable opacity? What? No, we don't need to go to text. We'll do touchable opacity to press button. So that's what we have. So whenever I press this, nothing happens because we have not defined on press. So what would happen on press? So what do we want to do here is want to create an array list. So what you see here, a to do item is, at the moment it's just a static one task. What if we want to add more tasks? Let's try and do that. So what we want to do, we want to maintain a list of items, list of to do items. It can be empty, but whenever we press that button, whatever is in the text box just goes in there. So let's just try and do that. We would need one more list items and then update list. You can pass in what type of state you will have. So for example, this is we know is a string. We can write string here, and then here we want this. So we will export this. Export to do item props, and then to do item props, and then import it. Yet, so it's an empty. So to do item list. So this will be an array of to do list items. So it's an empty array by default. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna iterate over. Let's just keep task 1 there. And so whenever we want to write a logic in here, for example, a if else statement, that's how we do it. List items dot map. So maps so all the items one by one as an object. So we will get an item here, and what we'll do is we will just return to do item. We will keep task equals to item dot task, and then is completed is equals to item dot is completed. So this nothing would happen because by default it's empty, and we are not using this update list function yet to update anything. So let's just try use update list function. So update list accepts an array of to do item lists. So what we'll do, we will break all the list items. So what a spread operator does is, so for example, let me just try to do here. So for example, if you have 1, 2 and 3 in your array, and then what it will do is it will spread 1, 2, 3 like this. Like it won't create an array of array. because list items is already an array and we are writing an array outside of this. So it will split all the array items, and then what we can do, we can add one more item, because whenever we want to update a list we want to add one more item, and then is completed is equals to is false, and then let's keep this false all the time, and then task is value. So what we want to make sure is that value and value dot length is greater than 0. So we are not adding empty things in our array. Hope that makes sense. So this and then I'm using ternary operator here, so nothing should happen now. But if I add 1, so 1 should be added to our list object, but it doesn't look, it looks like our list has not been updated. So it turns out the problem was we were not returning any JSX, we were just using an object but not returning anything, so that was the problem. Now we are just returning to do item, so let's check now. Yep, it works. So it's we can clear the text on the action of touchable opacity. Thanks everyone who's watching the video. Please do share your comments, what you liked, what you disliked about the video. I just wanted to make a short video in under 15 minutes to get you started. Catch you in the next.